Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Humanity Unites. In my first video on this channel, I did not mention that I have a girlfriend. I do have a girlfriend. Nothing about this is looking for any romantic connection. So, what this is about me, about male emotional responses, the male experience, especially for progressives like myself, and challenges I go through with my political writing. My political writing has slowed down a bit lately. It's not that I haven't been writing, it's that I have a whole bunch of articles that I haven't finished yet, and those will be coming out soon in rapid succession. I've been focusing more on internal things lately. So when my writing slows down, that's usually what's going on. Anyway, something I wrote some time ago is words are the song of the soul. Sounds like a simple statement, but it's meant to go much deeper. Some people have a three-piece band or a duet playing inside of them. Some people have an entire orchestra. Personally, I have one of the most complex personality types on earth. If you know about Myers-Briggs, I have been diagnosed as an INFJ and an INTJ, both of the most rare personality types on earth, and for somebody to flip between them is even more rare. So I'm basically 1% of the 1%. But I don't really believe that I'm more complex than most people in capacity. I think that I reject the limits placed by society on different things. I think a lot of people limit themselves and set themselves in very narrowly defined conduits, categories, just because they think they're more likely to find people they have more in common with. They clone themselves. I never could do that. I'm 57, I still can't do that. That is what leads to the us versus them mentality. So, anyway, when I say words are the song of the soul, what we look for is others that sing or play in harmony with us. Well, of course, the more you have an orchestra as opposed to a duet, that's going to be more difficult. Excuse me. To find more moving parts, more things that you have in common with another person, with other people. It's been my life experience that I've been able to find things in common with virtually every person I've ever met. But I make that effort. But it's far less likely that I have a lot in common, or the majority of myself in common with other people. So I guess, you'd call me a male social butterfly. I just go from place to place and group to group and what have you. One of the biggest problems with this view of our words being our song is when other people try to silence your words. Doesn't matter who you are, whether you're progressive, conservative, what have you, when you're told you can't talk about that. There are things about my life I cannot talk about. There was a time in my life that I knew things about national security. I couldn't talk about it. Well, when that part of your song is silenced, your song is incomplete. Yeah. So people silence each other in a number of ways. You're telling people you can't talk about this. This is unacceptable. You're horrible if you talk about this. Or even interrupting or not listening to what another person has to say. You're silencing part of that person's song. Men have been historically, things are changing, but historically men have been told that we are only allowed to respond in certain ways with a limited range of emotional responses. Otherwise, we're not men. If you show weakness or depression or what have you, or certain emotional needs, then you're less of a man. I had an ex-girlfriend tell me that she was more masculine than I am. Well, okay, I'm not going to argue with that. Maybe she was. But, but she was talking about my emotional range as opposed to hers. And so, it's not uncommon for men to feel like they have to be silent about their emotions, and that weighs on you. That is silencing part of your song. Well, if you have a missing piece of your orchestra and you know that there is a void there, what's going to happen is that, in your orchestra, other instruments are going to play louder. In a choir, other voices are going to sing louder to cover up that void. But that void remains. There's something missing. And the more that you silence more voices, more instruments, the greater that void becomes and the louder the other instruments have to be. So when you tell people they can only respond with anger, aggression, selfishness, etc., to try and cover up that void, that's what's going to become louder. This is what's made me complex, because I have always rejected that narrative. I don't believe in war. I don't believe in aggression. I don't believe in violence. I don't even like football. I look for other ways to express things. So, this doesn't only apply to men, of course, but this is mostly what I'm focusing on. Stop silencing other people's voices. Stop silencing their song. It's unacceptable. We all have things that we cannot talk about for one reason or another. Every person on earth has things that they just cannot talk about, whether it's because of their own personal emotional risk, professional risk, whatever. We don't need more people telling us to silence more of ourselves. You're cutting off circulation to a person's limbs this way. A person that is blind, their hearing becomes more acute because you pay more attention to it. The same is true with our emotions. If you cut off one emotional response, some other emotional response is going to get all of that energy, all of that attention, and that's what they're going to use, because that's all that they think they can use. You condition people to be this way. We all do this. I mean, not all of us, but it's so common. You know, don't invalidate a person's emotions. Don't silence them. Don't interrupt them. Don't tell them they can't talk about this or that or what have you. If you don't want to hear it, ask yourself why you don't want to hear it, and then talk about it. Don't shut down the narrative. Make it two ways. All right, well, that's it. I made this longer than I intended to. And next time, have a good one.